The Archive British Steam series of videos is a collection of rare original cine footage of working steam locomotives on British railways in the 1950s and 1960s. The shots cover most areas of Britain and many different types of locomotives, and in most cases follow a chronological order rather than any pattern of location or classes of locomotives. Volume 3 begins at Leamington Spa. Although former GWR territory, Leamington saw many BR Standard and former LMS engines in the 1960s. This is 280 Class 8F number 48339 on a down freight, followed by another member of the same class, number 48674. Electrification of the West Coast Main Line began in Lancashire and was gradually extended south. The wires were already up at Stockport Edgeley when these shots were taken. This is Ibert 262 tank engine number 41204, a former Abergavenny locomotive. And Black 5 number 45131, heading south through the station. Another Ibert 262 tank. These engines were first introduced in 1946. This one, number 41233, had spent much of its working life in North Wales. These 1953 BR-built 260 Class 2 mixed traffic locomotives were based on another Ibert design of 1946. The BR Standard Class 2 260s were slightly heavier than their former LMS counterparts. This is Blavey near Leicester on the former Great Central Line. V2 number 60963 heads an up express. This section of the Great Central between Rugby and Nottingham closed in 1969. Here we see the newly repainted A3 number 4472, the famous Flying Scotsman, on a special train. And 92021, one of the former Crosty-boilered 210s. The line it is crossing is the Nuneaton to Leicester line and is still extant today. At Nuneaton we see former LMS 3-cylinder Jubilee class 460 number 45617, Mauritius. Birmingham Snow Hill, we see a totally different 460. This is Castle Class number 4082, Windsor Castle. This was the locomotive used to haul King George VI's funeral train back in 1952. Still at Snow Hill, this is Lechlade Manor. The famous railway historian Pat Whitehouse purchased two former Great Western locos before the end of steam, Clun Castle and this one, Churchwood 262 tank number 4555. Towards the end of their lives, many former express passenger locomotives, like number 7020 Gloucester Castle, were reduced to more mundane freight duties. Still in the Birmingham area, but now on the Midland region, this is Jubilee number 45557, New Brunswick, at Saltley. Also at Saltley, we see sister locomotive number 45721, Impregnable. Back to Snow Hill, and a haul tows two once proud Castle class locomotives to the scrapyard. The coaches of an Elder Dempster boat train. And track machines like this can still be seen today. Birmingham's other mainline station, New Street, was in the throes of being rebuilt at this time. We move to Gloucester, and this is 060 number 2253, a 1930 Collett designed loco. One of the dinky 042 tank engines, number 1424, which date from 1932. These locomotives were fitted with push-pull facilities. Back to Saltley, and this is Jubilee number 45647, Sturdy. Sturdy was one of the handful of this class which survived into 1967. A former LMS Hughes designed 260 of 1926. These locomotives were affectionately known as crabs. And New Brunswick again. Former LNER locomotives were not too common in Birmingham New Street. This Gresley V2 number 60895 had apparently worked in from its home base of York. The design dates back to 1936, and certainly one engineman was a little unsure of the clearances of his steed in its unusual territory. Pairings like this 262 tank engine with a castle at Snow Hill were also quite an unusual sight. Another BR Standard Class 2 260, number 78003, also at Snow Hill. Still at Snow Hill, a former Midland 060, number 44394, a one-time Mansfield-based locomotive. Across the city at New Street, Pioneer Coronation Class Pacific number 46220 was actually named Coronation. And now we follow former LNWR 7F 080 number 48930 on a rail tour. Firstly, we see it at Gravelly Hill. As it passes southbound, this 4F passes north on a freight. We now see it near Aston. And arriving at Stretchford. These 080s were essentially freight locomotives, and although designed in 1912, stood the test of time excellently and were very popular with enginemen. Our last shot of 48930 is leaving Dudley. Snow Hill again. This is Pioneer County Class locomotive number 1000, County of Middlesex. And Stanier Black 5 number 44859, first introduced in 1934. On volume 3, we'll see several shots of King Henry VI. Here it is entering Snow Hill Station. The first station north of Snow Hill was Hockley. This is 7806 on a down train. And 92243 on an up cement train.